Marches inspire us. They're a part of our history, and it has never been more important to keep the spirit of direct action alive. I support marching for our rights. I support civil disobedience. And I support calls for our queer liberation on a national basis. However, I continue to have concerns about the prioritizing of a march on Washington at this moment in time. One, our community's infrastructure is being gutted. Just last week, the HIV/AIDS programming held at the Los Angeles LGBT Center lost millions of dollars and was completely eliminated. None of the HIV/AIDS organizations have expressed that they have the infrastructure to help with HIV/AIDS education, organizing, or a vigil on the day after the march. So that portion has been completely canceled from the National March on Washington. When I walk out of my apartment building here in San Francisco, I see more homeless people, people shooting up, people in dire need of mental health services, more than ever. For me, to spend $500 on a trip to Washington, D.C. at this moment would be a betrayal of my moral imperatives. If you're trying to scrape together more than $50 to go to Washington, D.C., consider donating instead to a small, local, struggling LGBTQ organization. Your dollars will make more difference there. 2. The timing feels a little off. Congress will be in recess. The streets will be empty. I've marched against the war in Iraq and Afghanistan and other occupations. I've marched through the empty, lonely streets of Washington before, more than once. It was nice seeing old friends, but it was a lot of effort for a blip on the news and no change really being made. The March for Women's Lives, however, years earlier, was huge and well-planned and well-timed. We already had angry, protesty marches directly following the passage of Prop 8. Those marches and protests got tons of media attention. They brought our community together in a time when we needed to heal, and they brought us to a spirit of justice. Now it's time to grow from there. It's time now to inspire all of these new activists who are outraged about Prop 8 to think in a broader framework for social justice. 3. Our country is focused on the healthcare debate, and so should we be too. Free and affordable healthcare will lift up the most marginalized members of our community more than marriage, more than don't ask, don't tell, more than hate crimes laws combined. 4. If your goal is to network with radical activists, learn organizing strategies, and hear from the brightest minds in the queer community, creating change is a better expenditure of your resources. The Creating Change Conference, of course. As of now, only HRC, the organization that endorses pro-war, pro-life candidates through their top-down structure, is the main organization offering classes and training at this national march. It's always a life-changing experience to go to Creating Change, and you'll meet new and seasoned queer activists there. Also, NGLTF offers scholarships for those with income needs, and they offer assistance to those who are able to do a workshop. 5. Equality isn't liberation. We can all be equal within oppressive laws, but they'll still be oppressive laws. We should be calling for our collective liberation. We must focus our attention beyond marriage and more towards a social justice framework. Marriage laws don't provide for the diversity of queer families, chosen or otherwise. We must move beyond fighting for hate crimes laws, which increase prison sentencing, support the prison industrial complex, and are sometimes even used against our own community. If you're planning on going to the March on Washington, I support your dedication for equality, fairness, and justice. I'm not trying to put anybody down. I simply ask that you take these concerns into consideration, and perhaps at the very least, take them with you to Washington. Think about what your signs will say when you are there. Think about the most marginalized members of the queer community. Think about what you want to get out of your trip other than just holding a sign with a heart on it, waving it around in the empty streets of Washington. Thank you for your time, and I encourage you to continue this debate on QueerToday.com.